You're watching RPTV, your robot protagonist.
Can I get a hit? Can I get a clap for this? All of us running up, moving onward through the mist. There can be no hesitation, there's no second catalyst. Never be a need to ask us why we can't resist.
So this is me. I'm about 19 here, and I'm at a holiday dinner at my cousin's, and sitting across from me is Carl. Carl's about 77. He's a retired cop, kind of a gruff guy, and growing up, he always kind of scared me a little. When my brother and I were kids, we saw him at pretty much every extended family gathering, but he only interacted with us once. This is the flashback. Here we are, my older brother and I, maybe 13 years earlier, and we're horsing around, being too loud, and my knee bumps the metal folding table. Carl slams his hand down on the table and yells, "Now that's enough!" Alright, so that was the flashback. So here I am, 19 years old. Let me give you a little background on who I am here. At this point, I had dropped out of college, and I was working at a hardware store, but I considered myself a musician. I played trumpet and guitar, I was in a band. My musical tastes were really varied. I listened to a lot of different kinds of music. Hip-hop, classical, some country, but also big band music, so Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, Artie Shaw, Dizzy Gillespie. Okay, so I found out that Carl here also loved big band music. Apparently, back in the day, he used to play trombone in a big band. Here was this guy who'd always scared me a little, and the idea of having a real adult conversation with him over a mutual interest was really appealing to me. I would no longer be the annoying kid making too much noise. I would be a fellow music lover who understood and appreciated music as much as Carl here. I forget how I tried to get the ball rolling, but almost immediately it wasn't going well.
Back in my day, we listened to real music, not that rap talk stuff.
I tried to steer the conversation back towards historical big band Chicago, asking more pointed questions. I knew dates and names of clubs, but I wanted to hear what it was like firsthand. But he stayed dismissive and plowed through.
You don't know music. That was real music back then. Open the door, Richard. Ever heard that? That was real music.
The conversation was going about as poorly as you can imagine, but then he says it.
You know who you should have seen? Lionel Hampton.
For those of you who don't know who Lionel Hampton is, he's a vibraphone player from the big band era. He played with Louis Armstrong, Benny Goodman. He had his own orchestra. He inspired Roy Ayers. Lionel Hampton was a total badass. If you don't know who he is, do yourself a favor and check out some of his stuff. The guy was seriously amazing. So Carl tells me I should have seen Lionel Hampton, and that is really good news because when I was 15, I had seen Lionel Hampton. I had gone to a creative arts sleepover camp that had weekend concerts you could buy tickets for, and Lionel Hampton was one of the concerts. So I'm getting ready to get some props from this guy, probably only 2 people in the whole room that have actually seen Lionel Hampton, and I'm one of them. So I waited for a bit because he wouldn't stop telling me how awful my generation's music was, but finally I had to interrupt. I said, "I have seen Lionel Hampton." And he says, "What?" Not out of shock, but because he didn't hear me, but then I got to say it again. "I have seen Lionel Hampton." And Carl says,
Well, you didn't see him in his prime.
Can I get a hit? Can I get a clap for this? All of us running up, moving onward through the mist. There can be no hesitation, there's no second catalyst. Never be a need to ask us why we can't resist.